What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? You know, I've been not out of the loop, but I haven't been uploading lately, mostly because things in my life had to come first, but I got all that stuff straightened out for the most part, I think. I don't know, someday we'll get our lives figured out eventually, right? But on the real, this has been a subject that I wanted to talk about because I think Nintendo fans have reached just an all-time intellectual low. Because they cannot process that Nintendo, yes, it's a company, but there are people that work at the company and there are things that's happening in the world that affects what's coming out of the company at this time and many other companies. Again, you know, while yes, it is a company made up of people who make a lot of money, I think people need to realize that human beings work at Nintendo and every other gaming company on the, planet. I don't think there's many, AI-operated gaming companies, unless you're like Tencent, because at that point, you just own everything. Let's be real. But recently, there's been this, this worry that Nintendo is doomed? I don't know, like the Nintendo Switch is doomed in 2020? That, Nintendo needs to give us news right in here, right now, because if they don't, that people are just gonna go and solve their Switches that they've already invested hundreds of dollars into because they've probably bought many AAA titles for it, or a myriad of indie titles for it, or both. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? Selling your console that you've invested hundreds of dollars into because Nintendo's not, giving us anything right now in terms of news. But in today's video, I wanted to talk about the logistics behind this. And again, the reason why Nintendo isn't giving us news. So, let's begin.
Here I go!
Again, what's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Shadicstick, dropping some hot frog on this mic because you guys need it today. You need to know that Nintendo isn't, making announcements. They aren't talking about anything because COVID has severely affected Nintendo and many other gaming companies in the industry. When the outbreak of COVID happened, especially, when it came to production, a lot of gaming companies and electronic companies took a really big hit. Because guess where many electronics are made? China. Guess where the virus started? China. So when the place that you make all of your products is basically locked down, you can't get your product out the door because it's stuck somewhere else. On top of that, COVID-19 is one of the most dangerous things out there right now, along with Karens yelling at black people. I get it, you want your precious Nintendo Direct, your Nintendo news. I get it. People want news. They want to be updated on games that have been announced or just, have yet to come. I mean, many of the people waiting on games like No More Heroes 3 and Metroid Prime 4 would like updates. I'd like updates. But at the same time, I think Nintendo fans need to understand that they can't get those to you. Both Japan and America, the places where these many video games, that come out on the Nintendo Switch, whether they be first party, AAA, third party, indie, or not, are being made, are heavily affected by COVID. Cases in the US, especially are rising, and even in Japan, they are still on the rise. I don't think people know this. Like, you can go onto Google and look up, the amount of cases that are happening in the world in any given place, and it'll show you the statistics. I mean, just today, if you looked up Japan, the day that I'm recording this, you'd see there's 1,360 people who got COVID-19, and that's insane. And they've only been on the rise since July. But people aren't listening and understanding that every time Nintendo says at the beginning of their videos, hey, we're, experiencing this, that, and the other, we're experiencing hits in, our productivity because of COVID-19, people just ignore it like it doesn't exist. I get it. You want news, I want news, we all want news. But you gotta understand that there are bigger things in the world right now that are happening besides video games. Don't worry, your Metroid game, your Zelda game, your No More Heroes 3 will come out. This isn't to the people who are, being, optimistic. I'm optimistic. I can't wait to see what Nintendo, shows us. But at the end of the day, they're $1 billion corporation. They're not gonna, suffer, significant losses that are gonna hurt the company in any significant way should they not release anything major this year. They already released Animal Crossing and that did 22 million in 4 months. Right now, I actually think it's the fastest selling exclusive game of all time, which is ridiculous. Nintendo is fine without us worrying about, whether or not they'll be okay. They keep breaking sales records with the Switch. They keep selling out of it. The Switch will be fine. Nintendo will be fine, and you will be fine. Again, there's nothing wrong with speculating or anything like that. I'm going to be making a speculation video on a supposed August Nintendo Direct coming up soon. But at the same time, guys, you have to recognize that Nintendo isn't just, again, some robotic entity. They're it's a company made up of people, and those people make your games. They're people who make your trailers, make all this, that, and the other. Just wait for it to come. It's a little dry right now, but I think in the end, for a good product, it'll be worth it. They haven't said something about a game. They haven't said something about it. Don't worry about it. Go on about your business and stop worrying about the game unless they, show us something and it's like, oh, I don't know about that. Otherwise, again, don't worry about it. You'll be fine at the end of the day. Don't be so ready to give your, $60 to the next $50 billion corporation. I don't know. I feel like I'm being reasonable about this, but I've gotten tired about people talking about Nintendo needing to show a new direct or something like that, like it's the end of the world. Honestly, I've gotten extremely annoyed by it. You want to play a Nintendo game? Go buy an old Nintendo console and play a game you haven't played before. You want a new game on your Switch? There's literally hundreds, if not thousands of games on the Switch. Buy a new game. There are games out there. If you're really wanting to spend your money, there's a game you haven't played. Not all experiences need to be small, not all experiences need to be big. If you've played all the AAA games, go play some indie games and vice versa. But this is me, man, Shadicstick. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video out with your friends. Hopefully, you guys are staying safe, you're staying hydrated, and you're keeping your mask on, and you're keeping your Switch sanitized. This has been your man, Shadicstick. Remember, Hot Faraga turns to Cold Blue Saga. Check out some of my other videos. Hit that notification bell and buy some merch. Links are down in the description. We're out of here. Peace. Kiss, kiss.